And then I'm going to pull up my slides here, and it's going to let me do it like this. Yay, there we are. Okay, awesome. So I'm super excited to chat about happy hormones and a healthy gut, because I think I'm a woman, I'm 24. Am I 24, guys? No, I'm not 24. I'd love to be 24. I'm 44. What's happening? I actually started my Arbonne business when I was 24. Maybe that's what I was thinking about. But I think as women, especially as we move through our 20s, 30s, 40s, and beyond, I do think that we really do need to just understand our hormones. What I remember learning years ago was that a lot of the symptoms that I guess I had been told are just a natural part of becoming older as a woman, or natural part of becoming a woman, don't actually have to be. We don't have to be cranky. We don't have to be super irritable. We don't have to feel, bloated and gross and all of these things, which I just kind of thought like, oh, that's just our lot in life. And so anyways, my name is Missy Hides. I'm an independent consultant with Arbonne, and just excited to chat tonight about happy hormones and a healthy gut. How is that possible? What are the steps that we can take to really move in that direction? I have been learning personally about balancing hormones, really adjusting my lifestyle around that for probably the last 20 years. And when I got introduced to Arbonne, that was really the first time I started to learn about that. And then around 15 years ago, I had my first miscarriage. And when that happened, after I had already given birth and we had a 2-year-old, that really started me on my own personal journey of understanding how my hormones were working. Why was I struggling to conceive? Why was I struggling to hold on to a pregnancy? And all of those things. And really, as we have journeyed through motherhood, I've now had 6 babies. I actually ended up having a second miscarriage down the road. But I feel like learning about my hormones, how to really balance them, how to regulate them, has been so helpful, not only for myself, but now also raising teenage daughters who are starting to walk their own hormone journey. And then also learning about how do we get our gut healthy? What do we need to do? Why is that important? I can say that at 44, post 6 kiddos, I'm probably in the best shape of my life. I probably do have some of the most energy reserves that I've ever had. I was actually talking to my parents a couple of weeks ago, and I just said, because of the life, changes that I've made, because of how I've become just educated in a lot of these things, I said, I think I could run circles around most 24-year-olds. And I'm thankful for that. And I love sharing that with people. I really feel missional about sharing what I'm going to talk about tonight. And so we're going to jump right in on happy hormones. Is that possible? Is it possible to think about your hormones and think like, oh, this could be, a good thing? And yes, it absolutely is. Happy hormones are really when your hormones are regulated and they're functioned as they were designed to work in the body. And there's 2 primary hormones that we have. We all know that we have 3 major ones, right? We've got estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, but the 2 main ones that you want to have in a really great balance are your estrogen and your progesterone. And so I'm going to use some notes just to make sure that I stay on track, but I want to kind of just quickly touch on, well, what's the difference? Because sometimes we hear these terms, or sometimes we know a lot about them, or we don't know very much. And so estrogen, I want you to think of that as like your frenzied hormone. This is the growth hormone. This is the hormone that the goal is to make cells at a really speedy rate. Okay. Think of it as maybe like your crazy friend or your crazy aunt who's like always causing just a little bit of chaos. They get things, they can create things. They maybe feel like things are having a lot of fun, but after a while, it's like, oh my gosh, it's too much, right? I need a little bit of a break. Progesterone, on the other hand, that's really your calming hormone. Its job is to soothe and calm really those effects of estrogen. It's like the friend that calms you, that lets everything know it's going to be okay. But what has happened really in the last several decades, particularly for American women, is that we have an exceptionally high estrogen rate and a very low or no progesterone rates. And then this is where we start to experience a lot of the symptoms of having hormones that are not balanced and not equal. And so some of the main causes of that is that we have very high stress levels. I'm sure, everybody can relate to that of like, what do you mean stress, right? Where there's just an expectation that we're always going to be on the go. And there's this kind of always being on, always doing the next best thing, always going. We don't Sabbath very well, right? We don't rest very well. We also lack really nutritionally dense foods. We don't often eat a lot of whole foods. We are often choosing a lot of things in bags, boxes, or through a drive-through window. And those are all processed foods out of just convenience and just needing to feed our families, right? And we're also exposed to a lot of foreign substances, toxins, and those can greatly be hormone disruptors. Okay. So this scenario of having low or no progesterone gives us symptoms like irregularities in your periods, cysts, mass, fibrocystic tissues, tumors, gallbladder issues, autoimmune disorders, infertility, and then also symptoms, again, these were the ones that I just kind of thought were a part of like being a woman, of headaches, migraines, mood swings, hot flashes, hair loss, skin issues, low libido, and more. John Hopkins actually did a study that concluded that women who are low in progesterone are 80% more likely, or they're at an 80% greater risk of breast cancer. And so I think it's really important that we get this information for ourselves, and then we start to have conversations with other women, mothers, sisters, daughters, right? And really start to understand what's going on. So basically, if you have 3 or more of these symptoms, you're most likely what we would call estrogen dominant. So you have too much estrogen in your system and not enough progesterone. So how do we adjust this situation? How do we get these things? How do we help you support a healthy life? And avoid and really eliminate these symptoms. I'm just going to talk through 6, really what I would say quick steps, really doable steps to reducing your estrogen level. I do want to say I'm not a medical professional. I'm not giving you any medical advice. You can consult your physicians that you trust and have great relationships with, but this is good information for you to be an advocate for your own personal health. And I think it's good to be asking questions and to understanding like, well, why don't I have a regular period? Or why do I have, why am I having hair loss? Or why am I having, low libido and things like that? So the 6 that we're going to talk about are the 6 steps to bring your hormones into balance. Is the first one I want to talk about is to stop eating estrogen. Okay, we have to stop the influx of this synthetic hormone that is really then exaggerating the natural levels of estrogen that we have in the body. So we have to eat what we would say is more of a clean diet or a clean lifestyle. Foods that come from cows, animals, poultry, many of those are injected with growth hormones. Okay. And when those growth hormones, which is primarily going to be estrogen, and they inject those hormones into all different kinds of animals in order for them to increase the rate at which they will gain weight, right? In which they will grow. So dairy cows are injected so that they will produce 4 times the amount of milk that a regular dairy cow will on a farm. So when people say things like, well, I grew up eating XYZ, it's very different now than what that looked like, right, in the 40s, 50s, 60s when you had cows on the farm. Like my family is a farming family actually, and they had cattle on the farm. They had chickens, they had sheep and goats. They weren't injecting any of those animals with growth hormones, right? So they could eat all of those things and it didn't impact their body like it does ours. So when we eat those products, whether it's the meat, the dairy products, the eggs, the cheeses, things like that, and it has the growth hormone in it, we absorb that into our body, okay? It doesn't get cooked off. It doesn't just disappear. It comes into the body. It also comes into our kiddos' bodies. And this is one of the reasons that I feel pretty passionate, probably because I have 5 daughters. I've got 5 girls and 1 boy. But the average age with which females are starting their period has been going down over the last 100 years. And now it's around the age of 9 or 10, when it used to be around the age of 15, right? And so there has to be some there has to be some like understanding of like, well, why is this happening? Why are 9-year-olds getting their period? And a lot of it is because they are being dominated with estrogen in their diet, their lifestyle, and then their product exposure. Okay. So when we do this, this influxes a lot of hormone altering substances into our body. So we really want to think like, okay, I want to stop eating estrogen. So we do this by buying as often and as much as we can, organic or local, grass-fed beef. You want to work with a local farmer if you can, wild-caught fish versus farm-raised fish, because all of these I would say like commercially raised foods are going to not have all of these added hormones into them. Okay. So this is where one of the reasons I love Arbonne's 30 Days to Healthy Living program. If you're not familiar with it, it's a program where we eliminate for 30 days things like gluten, sugar, soy, dairy. And really during this program, we really learn what works for our body, what doesn't work for our body, how to slow down this influx of estrogen dominant foods to really bring our body healing and wellness. And so I really just love that program. And I'll kind of touch on that at the end here. The second step is that you can increase your fiber. I feel like this is a thing maybe that we think like, oh, this is just what older people have to do. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Once you hit 30, you need to start increasing your fiber. And here's why. Increasing fiber is super important. Fiber actually will attach itself to the estrogen, and it will be eliminated from the body when you go to the bathroom, helping to bring down and reduce that estrogen level. Okay. It's very, 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 very important to make sure that you are getting enough fiber. And honestly, most Americans are not getting nearly enough fiber, because we do things like instead of eating an orange, instead of peeling the orange and eating the orange, we just drink orange juice, right? Or we give our kids applesauce packets, which I do. I'm not making any statements of judgment, but there's no real fiber in that compared to like if I cut up the apple and I give my kids the apple and the skin and all of those things. So we use Arbonne's fiber. I put it in our protein shakes. I put it in spaghetti sauce when I make it. You can put it in cookies. It's very versatile. You can use it and it's tasteless, it's odorless, but it's just super great. And it's really one of the best in the market. It's gluten-free. It's 12 grams of soluble fiber in every serving, which is nearly half the recommended amount that everybody needs. And so increasing fiber can really be a game changer. And it's, again, just a simple step to move your health position into more of a positive and happy way of living. The third is exercise. Jess, you and I were just talking about this as we hopped on. You're getting up at 4 a.m. to go exercise. And this does two things. This one relieves stress in the body. And the more we can alleviate the stress in the body, the less taxing we will do on our adrenal glands. For me, when I had my first miscarriage, what I came to realize was that my adrenal glands were totally depleted. And so my progesterone, instead of doing the other jobs it's designed to do of like holding a pregnancy, it was actually having to dump into my adrenal glands to keep my adrenals running, because I was like running, a million miles an hour, just like everybody does. I didn't know that there was like deficiencies that I could actually drain those adrenal glands, and we absolutely can. So we want to reduce or relieve stress. So exercise is a great way to do that. Also, exercise burns estrogen. So sitting is really like the new smoking, and it's so important that we are getting movement. I put exercise because sometimes and movement, because I think sometimes people are like, oh, I hate to exercise, or I don't want to go work out. That's fine. Just move. Just get up and walk around your house, walk around your office place, walk around, get outside, get fresh air, just getting movement. There's so many simple things that we can be doing. I mean, like literally like touching your toes and just doing some big body movements will start to really move you in that right direction. When you're estrogen dominant, you must make it a point to move every day. You want to use exercise to help burn off that extra estrogen. Okay. And then as far as stress, we have a great product that I love. I have it on one of the last slides. It's called Inner Calm. It's a de-stress powder. It's an adaptogenic de-stress powder. 3 of the 8 of us take it every single day, me, my husband, and my second kiddo. And it's got a pink lemonade flavor. It's really great, but it's got ashwagandha, which is a powerful adaptogen, and it also has saffron. And those are two ingredients that really can help the body kind of think of it as like absorb, metabolize, and help you just work through stress, whether it is like known stress that you have or just stress on the body that sometimes we aren't even aware of, or those like feelings of anxiety or overwhelm or, all of those things. It's a great product, some great ingredients to help with that. The fourth thing is to use a natural progesterone cream. So you want to find a bioidentical progesterone cream that has the same molecules and like molecular structure of what your body produces. When you're stressed and you're eating items that have been injected with these growth hormones, obviously, again, this is that estrogen, your body then gets depleted. And so you need to supplement with a progesterone cream. And I can put in the chat one that I recommend. What I love, I have used progesterone cream on and off for years, and like probably almost 20 years. And there's, I've used it with pregnancy. I've used it post-pregnancy. I've used it when I'm cycling. I have clients that use it when they stop cycling. I mean, there's just so many benefits. Progesterone, it has so many benefits. It helps with bone density. It helps with mood. And what I love about the progesterone cream is it's super inexpensive. Like one bottle, which will last you 3 months, I think is like $25. So it's kind of a no-brainer, right? It's just a simple way. It's just a cream. You put it on the insides of your arm, your neck, chest area, or the bottoms of your feet, and you just rotate those spots. And so it's a really, really great way to, as we're trying to reduce the estrogen, bring up that progesterone for that balance, okay? And then fifth thing is that you want to supplement. When you input great things, you will get great results. And it's so important to know that this very important fact that our food cannot currently anymore, unfortunately, give us the complete nutrition that it maybe once did at one time, right? They've done studies where if you wanted to get as much vitamin C out of an orange as your grandmothers did, 75 years ago, we now have to eat 9 oranges. Okay, they're just very depleted. Some of those reasons is one, we don't eat foods in season typically anymore because we go to the local grocery store and we can get tomatoes year round. Well, when are tomatoes in season? In the summer, right? That's why they taste better. Garden tomatoes always taste better, but we can buy them in the middle of January for our salads if we want, right? And so they are, produce is shipped cross country. Produce is picked before it is ripened. So it's turning as it's off the vine and in trucks. Most everything in America, and now that I say this, you'll never be able to not see this when you go into the grocery store, and I'm sorry for telling you this, is wrapped in plastic. And that plastic leaches into there's just all of these things that we're just like, all the things. And I know we all have to be careful, because if we start to really think about all the things, we'll probably drive ourselves crazy, right? But we can start to make different choices, and supplementing is for that reason, so we do need to supplement with really nutrient dense supplements that are easy to digest and highly absorbable. That's the thing you want to make sure you're looking for when you're taking supplements. They're not all created the same. The supplements that you buy at Costco are not the same as the supplements that you're going to get in Arbonne. They're not the same as what you're going to get on Amazon. And so people can be spending a lot of money purchasing supplements that they're literally just passing when they go to the bathroom the next time, and the body's not absorbing them. They have a lot of fillers in them, and they're not really digesting in the system like you want them to. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're giving your body great supplements. So one of the things that I love is when we're using Arbonne's products is that we are helping moving people's pH levels from more of an acidic profile to more of a neutral state. Okay, most Americans have a very acidic pH on the pH scale, lots of things because of that, and that will tend to cause inflammation in the body, right? And so you want to be more in that alkaline state. And there's different products that we have that really help move that pH profile. Then the last thing is to avoid, if you're like, what in the world is that word? It's called xenoestrogens. So these are, your fake estrogens. And this is where being aware of all the chemicals, all the toxins in the products that are in our house that are on the receipts when we go to the grocery store, those stupid receipts, like throw those things away at the store. Don't bring them in the house. They're just laced with chemical. And you're like, who is this crazy lady? So the xenoestrogens are things like synthetic fragrances. Okay. These are the things like some of the products that contain a lot of xenoestrogens are things like scented dryer sheets. Those are one of the most toxic things you can have in your home. That's why you want to use, which we don't sell in Arbonne, but you want to use like wool dryer balls, things like that, or just go without them. But you just want to be aware of what's in your skincare products, what's in your body care products, what's in all of the products and the things that you're using, whether it is things like, because fragrances can be in like laundry soap, candles, personal care products, shampoo, conditioner, body lotions, fragrant, air fresheners. There's so many things. And what happens is your body reads these synthetic chemicals as estrogen, and they actually store in your body's receptor sites as if they truly are estrogen. So those things are then again adding to this estrogen profile in the body. And you're like, okay, gosh, this is why we're becoming so unbalanced, right? Microwaving in plastic is a big one that people are unaware of because it leaches chemicals from the plastic into the food. And then we take in that food. So, and that's the thing is that can, for me at times feel frustrating because it's like you have people wanting to make better health choices, like buying frozen broccoli. Like, okay, we're going to eat frozen broccoli. And so they buy it and they buy it in like the steamable bags and then they put it in the microwave and it's just like, all of these chemicals from the plastic bag are now going into the produce, and the produce actually now, because of the way microwaves zap things, it's really taken out almost all of the nutritional value of the food. I'd love to give everybody a little challenge, like see if you can go 10 days, 7 days without your microwave and see what life is like. We lived with that one for 13 years and people thought we were absolutely crazy. And the house we have now, it was like built in, I couldn't take it out. But it's just, again, making big changes, making little changes to really help with that whole health profile. Okay. So you want to avoid the xenoestrogens because they start to read in the body as they really contribute to that estrogen profile that you have. So that's a little bit about the healthy or the happy hormones. I want to touch just briefly on a healthy gut, how to get it and why it matters. According to the National Center for Biotechnology information, 70 to 80% of your immune system is in your gut. Okay, so we have got to get our guts healthy. And I know that there is a lot of chatter and information out there about that. That's what this little second spot talks about, that it's predicted to increase the whole gut health industry to almost 90 billion in the next 5 to 6 years from 44 billion of where it was just 2 years ago. That awareness is rising by almost 50% or over 50%. And the reason is that we're just understanding that the average American has 5 to 20 pounds of undigested poo just hanging out in their GI system. And you're like, what did you say? Yes, that is what I said. There's many reasons for this. I talked about it. Fiber. We're not getting enough fiber. We're not pooping enough. We need to be pooping a lot more, you guys. We're not taking in enough water. We're not moving these things out. Red meat alone, we eat red meat. I'm not an anti-red meat person, but it takes over 24 hours for red meat to be digested and moved out of the body. Okay. When we're taking a lot of antibiotics, when we have had damage to our GI system from, different medications we've taken, all of that process gets really gunked up, slowed down. There's things called leaky gut. I mean, there's just so many things that we need to be aware of. The other big thing is that there is a big correlation between the health of your gut and your mental health. Okay. And so that's, for me as a mom, another reason I'm really missional about helping my kiddos have a strong gut system and gut profile is because I want them to have the least amount of struggle that they may or may not have with mental health, right? With just feelings of overwhelm, feelings of anxiety, feelings of confusion, right? And all of those things. And it's a lot of it can be really helped when we get our gut cleaned up. And so our products have a program to help reduce that bloating, to help move out the gunk in the system. And that is done with our meal replacement protein, our Green Synergy Elixir, and then the fizz is a great thing. So it's because what people think sometimes is a little bit of a misunderstanding is that somehow if I lose weight, that's going to clean up my gut. And that's really not true. It's actually the opposite. When you take care of the gut will take care of the body. So focusing more on getting the gut cleaned up and then losing weight will just be the natural byproduct of that versus I'm just losing weight, but I'm still staying unhealthy. You know, like when people are like, oh, I've lost 25 pounds. I'm like, oh my gosh, do you feel better? Are you feel amazing? And they're like, no, not really. Like I just, I have got smaller pant size. We should be feeling more energized. We should be having better sleep. We should be having more regular bowel movements. We should be having clarity of thought. Like that's one of the things when I help people with like getting their gut in order and they're like, I can like think again. Like I can like process my thoughts when I get, lost in conversation. I can come back to it and I'm not like scrambling for like, where was I? What was I saying? So what I love about Arbonne's products is that we have offered people pure, safe, and beneficial products since 1980. And we've really been the pioneers of the clean movement, offering premium plant-based skincare and nutrition products that give results. And so we ban over 2,000 different ingredients. We have a very strict ingredient policy. We're vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, kosher, halal, non-GMO. We have nothing artificial, and we really use the best of nature and science. And that's what I've loved in the 20 years that I've been a consultant with them, is just understanding how many plants and herbs and oils there are that have been created and designed for us that we can get to give our body so much benefit. And I've loved that part of it. And we are a certified B Corp. That is a very difficult certification to obtain. You have to get it every single year. There's only 4,000 companies globally in all markets and in all industries that have this certification. And Arbonne is rated the #1 wellness company that is in the certified B Corp. So really what that means is that we're mission driven in what we're doing, and we prioritize people and planet over profit. And so I love that. That's something we've done forever, but we officially got this certification in 2020. So when we talk about supplements, here's going to be my suggestions. I kind of categorize them in the good, better, best option. So best is the 30 days to healthy living. If you are looking for a reset, if you're hearing this and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to do all the things. I've got all the things. I want to feel all better. This is a great place to start. It's really a 30-day reset program where we focus on eliminating some of those things that I talked about, but then also incorporating this very nutrient dense, highly absorbable nutrition products, along with, we give you recipes, we give you shopping guides, we give you support, we give you education. And some of the things that people will experience, not only will they experience weight loss, but really the more important things, honestly, are they start to sleep a lot better. They start to have more energy. The inflammation goes down or goes away. Many times they don't have the digestive or reflux issues or the bathroom issues that they thought they always had to struggle with. I've had clients who have just had a lot more, like I said, clarity of thought, or the struggles with like depression and anxiety have really been minimized or alleviated because, again, they're getting that GI system cleaned up. If 30 days is a little bit more than you would want to kind of take a step towards, then I would recommend our daily habits or daily essentials set. This is our vegan protein. All of our proteins are vegan. They're 24 grams of protein. They give you over 20 minerals and vitamins. They're just incredible. Along with our Green Synergy Elixir, this is a greens product that also has a probiotic, prebiotic, and digestive enzyme. Biggest thing to know about this particular probiotic strand in this product, it is the best one to counteract glyphosate. Glyphosate is the chemical name for Roundup, which is sprayed on lots of our foods if you're not eating organic, or if you ever go out to a restaurant or a drive-through, even Chick-fil-A, you are going to be taking in glyphosate. It's just in so many of our products. And this is the best probiotic to counteract the damaging effects of that. It's also the probiotic strand that has been clinically shown to keep working all the way from beginning to end of that really long digestive system that we have. And then it also has our Energy Fizz, which is just clean, calm energy from green tea and ginseng, which comes in a variety of flavors. We absolutely love it. And then if you're like, okay, I don't know if I'm even quite ready for that, how about 7 days? 7 days is a good place to start. 7-day fresh start. This is a product supported intermittent fasting program where we give you a matcha green tea with MCT oil. We give you a golden protein. You have an eating window, and then you close your eating window after 8 hours with our OmniGut probiotic, which is the only probiotic on the market that's formulated like this one. And this one really helps for people that have symptoms or are experiencing really the negative effects of like leaky gut, which just means the lining of your GI system has been compromised or damaged. And so it's either thinning or it has really small holes in it. And so those things that should be contained in that GI system are actually leaking into the bloodstream, leaking into the body. And it can be really, it's really hard on the body. And so you want to kind of help to really help heal that lining of that. So I love the fresh start. The daily habits, that's what I do every single day. And then typically 3 to 4 times a year, I'll do the 30 days to healthy living. And I've helped hundreds of people through that and absolutely love it. Then as far as swapping for cleaner options, because you are already washing your face, using shampoo, using deodorant, toothpaste, mascara, lots of different body care products. I love that Arbonne does offer Pure Safe beneficial products that are on trend and results driven. So these are just a variety of kind of some of my favorites. This Inner Calm over here on the right side, this is that Aptogenic De-Stress Powder. Over here, you can get on the left side, the OmniGut probiotic. These are some fast melt probiotic sticks for kiddos and adults. They taste like a pixie stick. They're delicious and really, really great. We've got a beautiful, several different skincare options, mascara, deodorant, so many options for people. So what do you do now? What do you do now that you're like, okay, I've heard all this information in a very short amount of time. What do I do? So you want to continue to be your own best advocate, right? You want to continue to ask questions. You want to continue to kind of figure out, why do I not feel awesome? Why do I wake up feeling tired? Why does my neck hurt? Why am I breaking out and also getting wrinkles? Why is my period not regular? Like all of those things, you want to start to just ask questions and look for the information so that you can make the most informed decisions. You want to start reading those labels at the grocery store. You want to start getting more fiber into your diet. You want to start figuring out, okay, if I'm not really doing a lot of movement, where can I start to add some movement into my day, right? So you want to continue to do that. If you want to start to use some of the products that I shared, some of Arbonne's products, you can shop and save by being a preferred client. So for $29 for 1 year, it's really similar to like a Costco membership. You can shop at 20%. As much or as little as you want. You don't ever have to make a purchase, and there's no minimum amount that you have to order in order to get that discount. At different levels of orders, you get free shipping, you can get free product. I just love it. It ships right to your house. And there's so many perks with that. There's also the option of you can join the movement. If you're hearing all this information, you're like, oh my gosh, all my sisters need to hear this. All my girlfriends need to hear this. Like, lots of people need to be informed. I'd love to have that conversation with you as well. So you can become a consultant, and it's $99 for a year. You get your products at 35% off, and then you get the full capacity to actually earn an income by sharing these products and sharing this information and really helping people be educated and to advocate for their own health. That's a lot of what we do here. And I've loved it for the last 20 years and looks forward to continuing to do so. So, I'd love to answer any questions that you have. I'm going to stop the recording so you can feel free to ask questions and not feel like it's going to be on a recording. So I'm going to do that. And then we'll wrap it up for tonight.